Okay, and we are recording. So, Rachel, it is all over to you.
All right, thanks, Hannah. I am teacher in charge of the ICT ASP program at Ashdale, and I've been doing it for 5 years now, so I'll be able to give you some information about the program and the testing process and answer some questions that you may have at the end. All right, so if we just go to the next slide. Do you want to do the acknowledgement of country?
Certainly will. So, Ashdale Secondary College is situated on Whadjuk land. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters, and community. We pay our respects to the Noongar people and their cultures, and to elders past, present, and emerging.
So the ICT Approved Specialist Program has two streams. There's the Ashdale STEM Institute and the Creative Technologies Institute, and I'll be explaining those in the coming slides. So why is STEM and technology so important? As we know, the world is changing, and with it, the jobs of the future. There's a lot of new jobs and opportunities available now that weren't available maybe even just 5 years ago. Things like what is a biohacker, professional triber, cybernetic engineer, all these terms that you've probably never even heard of. But there's so many opportunities now, and technology is one of the leading industries. And as an IT school, we are really at the forefront of pushing some of those courses to lead into those pathways. So it's really important that our students are equipped with the skills they need going forward so they are successful when they leave high school. So to create an educational environment that fosters the development of 21st century skills in students, we try to develop their critical thinking, their creativity, communication and collaboration so they can be innovative thinkers who find and develop solutions to global issues. And they're global issues that we're facing now, but also ones that are emerging and that we may not even know about yet, and we may not even be teaching what they need to know yet. So it's really, these 4 skills have been identified as crucial to getting students ready for the coming challenges. So at Ashdale, we want to ensure our students have the skills and opportunities to not be a victim of the future changes. There's a lot of talk about job losses and AI and robotics, and jobs are going to be lost, but we see it as an opportunity for new positions and so lots of exciting roles that have never been there before. So it's about becoming someone who can take advantage of the opportunities and thrive from them. So in 2026, Ashdale will again have the choice of 2 institutes as part of the Approved Specialist Program, the Creative Technologies Institute and the STEM Institute. And on the next slide, I'll go through the differences between the 2. So the Creative Technologies Institute delivers an enriched and accelerated digital and creative technologies curriculum. And we have learning units on graphic design, photo media, coding, Lego robotics, electronic circuitry, entrepreneurial skills in that we identify issues and try to develop solutions, and also video game design. And the students are given access to an amazing array of equipment. We're really well resourced. We have cameras, digital SLR cameras. We have a media studio, 3D printers, laser cutters. We have a vinyl printer. We have a virtual reality space and headsets. We have design software, and we have the creative and iMac labs for ongoing project development. And you can see in the picture there some of the amazing projects our students work on. In the top you can see them working on Illustrator, creating some characters, and then in the next picture there's the latest robotics model kit that I think we have 15 sets of. In the next picture you can see one of our students, he's at an excursion. I think he's sitting in Woodside or Rio Tinto's VR seat there. And in the other picture, there's a girl with a prosthetic hand that we 3D printed for a person with limb difference who was missing a hand, and they were given a working prosthetic hand from the program. And on the next slide, you can see some other pictures. At the top there are some items that the students designed and laser cut. Some students making some 3D environments in Minecraft. Some more 3D modelling in the next picture. And then we've got some kids using the cameras and some more illustration, and also some students in the bottom there doing some stop motion animation. And then in the STEM program, it also delivers an enriched and accelerated curriculum, but it includes science and maths as well as the digital technologies curriculum. And STEM is really about using these areas of knowledge to solve real-world problems. And they also have access to 3D printers, laser cutters, mechatronics, virtual reality equipment, design software, and the creative and iMac labs for ongoing project development. So we do a lot of project work that lasts several weeks, and students do a lot of research and planning and designing, and really looking at big problems and trying to tackle some of the real life issues that we're facing. And you can see in the picture there some girls in the workshop. In the next picture there, out on an excursion. You can see further down there, got some VR headsets on, and then they're working with a green screen in the bottom picture. And that middle picture is a 3D printer producing a dragon. You can see in the next slide there is the latest Lego kit on the left, a little dancing robot. And some students at one of the excursions in a VR headset, and then again in the design and technology workshop, science labs. And that last picture is some boys doing robotics on an excursion. We have a robotics team that a lot of our students from the Institute do really well in. In fact, our robotics club is jam-packed with students. I think there's about 30 kids signed up for it. It's really popular.
It is.
So overall, the students who graduate from the program do really well in senior school, and it provides the strongest foundation for success in a senior school. And the median ATAR for STEM Institute alumni in 23 was 89, and in 24 was 88. And this cohort regularly achieve an ATAR score of 85 or above, and that is a goal that we have, that we really set them up for success in that more challenging ATAR environment in year 11 and 12, because we've developed those research and designing skills, and it's really rigorous assessment. The graduation from lower school to senior school is smoother for those students, and they do well. So looking at the two institutes, I'll just talk about the differences. The duration of the course for both of them is from year 7 to year 9. So they are expected to stay with the program for those 3 years. And the Creative Technologies Institute offers the enriched and accelerated digital technologies, whereas the STEM is also digital technologies, but it's also science and maths. So the STEM Institute students need to be strong at maths. The student entry is by numeracy testing. It's a maths test. And we also do a software assessment using a tutorial, and there is an interview. And there may also be some group work that we kind of observe students' collaborative skills and communication skills. So the program is 2 hours each week, two 1-hour lessons. And then they're also in the creative lab, which is like our maker space. There's lots of gear, there's things to cut and drill and saw and glue and solder, and they get taught all those skills. They have to pass a proficiency test to make sure they're using all the equipment safely under teacher supervision. And there is also a 1-hour lesson before school at 7:45 a.m, and that is compulsory, and students are assessed on some work that they do in that period. The Creative Technologies Institute students are together just for the program for those 2 or 3 lessons, whereas the STEM Institute, they stay together for the 3 lessons plus the 4 science and 4 maths lessons every week. So the STEM Institute, they see each other a lot, and they become a really tight, cohesive group, and Everyone gets on really well. We very rarely have any issues. They become a really strong little group of students who really support each other and help each other out.
And they stay together in year 7, year 8, and year 9.
Yes. So they stay together that whole time.
Lovely.
And even in mentor, they are together. So they become very familiar with one another. And hardware, software requirements, for all students, really, they are required to have a laptop of some sort in senior school, in high school.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So the testing's a little bit different this year because the numbers have been going up every year and it's getting a little bit unwieldy. We had more than 150 students coming through the school last year, so we've decided to do it a little bit differently. We want to make sure that everyone in the primary schools is being given the opportunity to come up to the program. So this year, the round 1 testing will be conducted at the primary schools. If you're in a cluster school. If you're in the out of area school, you will need to register your student to come to Ashdale, and the student will come for 1 period to do the maths test in round 1. So the round 1 maths test, it's conducted online, and whether you're at the cluster school or you're out of area, everyone's going to do it on the same day because we don't want the kids chatting about it at soccer and dance class and things like that. So everyone has the same day to do the test. It's a 45-minute online test, lots of multiple choice, and maybe 5 short answer questions. And then looking at those results, which we should get back quite quickly because it's online, we will then identify the top 100 students, and we will send out emails and invite them up for round 2, which will be conducted at Ashdale Secondary College. And it will be a full day of software tutorial, maybe some activities, an interview with staff members, and there could be some group work to see how everybody gets on and works together and can manage that sort of environment. So there's quite a range of skills we're looking at, and it's ICT skills, it's math skills, and also just those collaboration, communication, problem solving and creativity skills. And at the end of round 2, we'll go away and we'll look at all the results and we'll have a very rigorous conversation and discussion about it, and then we will identify the 64 students that we think will do well in the course for the STEM program and also the Creative Technologies Institute, and we will send out offers.
Okay. I think we lost Rachel, or if you've lost me, but we're going to move on. Rach, can you still hear us?
Yes.
Okay, right. That's okay.
These are all the dates. So you can see there we're currently in week 7. That's today, Parent Information Evening. That's where we are. This, as Hannah said, tonight's WebEx is being recorded, so it will go onto the website if you want to watch it again or share it with somebody else. If you are an out-of-area family, and you will need to register your student for the testing, and the deadline for that is actually next week, 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. If you're a cluster school, you don't need to register.
Yeah. So just to make that really clear, even if you live out of area, but you attend a cluster school, all students in the cluster will do their testing at the cluster primary school that they attend. And this is just to stop disruptions so that you don't have to drop them off at Ashdale and then take them back to their cluster school. If they're in our cluster, one of our cluster primary schools, so Madeley, Ashdale, Lansdale Gardens, Carnaby, and Lansdale itself, they will do the testing in school. It's only students that live out of area and go to a school outside of our cluster schools that have to come to Ashdale to attend.
Yeah, and it's just just an early morning, I think we're saying 8:15 in the morning. It's a 45-minute test, and they should be back at their primary school, probably by 9:30, 9:45. So it's only the out-of-area students that need to fill in the 1-page registration.
Yep.
So once we've got all that information, all the students will do the round 1 testing on April the 1st, Tuesday morning. So the cluster schools will come to Ashdale and all the primary schools will do it at their primary school. We will look at the results and get them back quite quickly and send out offers in week 10. So you can have a think about it and get very excited about the round 2 testing, which will take place in week 3 of term 2, and that is by invitation only. So you will have received an invite, and obviously we'll have to let you know if you weren't successful also. And then following that round 2, then we will send out the final successful offers for the 64 students. We have 2 classes at 64 students. But Ashdale is not just an IT specialist school. We also have, because we're a really big school, we have nearly 2,000 students now. We have a lot of amazing programs. That includes a specialist soccer program. We also have a netball academy. And we also have an amazing music specialist program. And we also offer French and Japanese language. Because we're a big school, we can offer lots of subjects. We offer a range of subjects such as food, visual arts, textiles, metals, mechatronics, woodwork, dance, drama, media, and photography. Things like, chemistry and, theatre, environmental science, computer science, graphic design. There's a whole huge range of subjects that students can choose from.
And just because the students are in the ICT or the STEM program doesn't mean that they're going to be disadvantaged and can't apply for another academy or participate in cooking, D&T. They still get the broad range of every course that we offer. So sorry, I'm just letting people in, by becoming part of the STEM and CTI programs, your child isn't disadvantaged in terms of what other courses they're able to select and participate in.
And so in year 7 and year 8, they do a range of subjects, they sort of rotate through a lot of the subjects. So they get a bit of a taster of everything over a semester. And then it's really in year 9 and 10 that they start choosing their subjects. So they get a good variety of everything in the lower school. Someone did ask about borrowing a MacBook. We do have trolleys of MacBooks, but there's no guarantee that it will be available all the time. There's a lot of students and their MacBooks are in high demand. So really, we do recommend that you try to get your own. To start off with, you can just work on a tablet. But then later on in senior school, the kids really do need a MacBook or a laptop. It doesn't matter what brand, but ideally they do need a laptop as they go further along.
But if they're being part of the STEM or the CTI Institute, they would require a MacBook, wouldn't they?
Yes, although typically they're in a lab, so but they do a lot of work away from the computers. They're like sitting in groups, and so it's better. And a lot of the time, the kids want to work on their projects at home and things like that. So it is ideal really if they have their own.
Okay, I'm going to go through some of the questions now, Rach, and see if you can answer them. So we've talked about how Ashdale primary school students, they will do their round 1 testing at the primary school, so that's taken care of. It's not so much borrowing a MacBook in that you can use it during class time, but it's not a MacBook that you could take home or anything like that. So we do strongly encourage each student to have their own MacBook or access to computers. Do students have a rank preference for both institutes on the round 1 testing slip, or can they just nominate to apply for one? They can nominate to apply for one or both. If a student is particularly interested in science and maths, then maybe they want to lean more to STEM. But if they're more interested in computing and coding, maybe more CTI, but also welcome to apply to both. That just, I guess, doubles your chances. Is that correct, Rach?
Yeah. And look, if we're in maths, then we will recommend that they do the STEM Institute, and vice versa. If they really didn't do very well in maths, but they're still in that top group, then we would perhaps recommend that they go to the Creative Technologies Institute. Yeah.
Can the round one testing slip be emailed into the school? Yes, absolutely. If you just email it to Ashdale, our email address, we'll absolutely accept that. Does the child choose CTM or STEM or no? So again, the child can choose either STEM or CTI, and depending on how they go in the testing, we might recommend maybe moving from STEM to CTI or vice versa. But the child can absolutely choose to begin with. That's not a problem. Okay, here's a good question. Could my child try CTI, but if he does not like it, could he drop out? It is a 3-year commitment. The program is very in high demand, and so students that accept the offer are expected to stay in the course from year 7 to year 9, and simply that's because that we can have hundreds of students apply, and it would be very disappointing if one student accepted it and then dropped out, and then the other 99 students that would have probably liked it had that opportunity. So we do really want you to think quite seriously if you are going to join the program, that it is from year 7 to year 9. Preparations for numeracy skills of round 1. Is there any prep that they can do, Rach?
Look, I wouldn't think it was, I think just look at it as you would like a NAPLAN test. I wouldn't really be swatting particularly. The questions will start off easier and then they will get harder. We don't expect all the students to be able to answer all of them. That's kind of part of it. We want to sort of get that range. So, some of them may do really well and some of them, will struggle with some of them. I don't want the students stressing out about it and feeling like they have to swat for days. That's not necessary. Perhaps just doing your normal maths homework and, we certainly don't provide any resources for doing revision.
Yep. So just come as you are. In terms of offers will be sent out via email, and if it is, how do we provide our email addresses? We actually already have them. As we are a cluster, we share all that information. So if your student is part of the cluster primary schools, we'll have your contact information and can email you out. If you're an outside of cluster parent or student, then your email address will be on the permission slips that you need to hand in before next Thursday, so we'll know how to contact you. Why only MacBook? MacBook, we are an Apple school. And all of our resources are Apple linked. Is there specific programs on the Apple MacBook that you need, Rachel?
Not particularly, and it's not, we're not really, we have one lab with iMacs, but there's students with both. It doesn't really matter. No, it really doesn't matter if it's MacBook or not.
It just needs to have the right specification in terms of like the age of the computer, or does it need to be up to a certain...
It's really more important that there is, because all the students get the Adobe Creative Cloud license, and that's quite large, so they do need some space on the laptop to be able to take the quite large file. A lot of the stuff we do is quite, they'll be making videos, editing photos, so a lot of the files are quite large, so they need a computer with some capacity for storage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Erin, for that information about the swimming lessons. We'll contact Ashdale Primary School and we will get in contact with them and work out a suitable alternative for everybody. What type of questions are in the round 1 testing? So it will be maths based, so just general ability and maths. How to register online before, so if you're an out of area and out of cluster parent and you want to register your child, if you go onto our website, the Ashdale website, in our specialist enrolment area, there will be a sheet that you can download and you can fill that in, and you can either drop it back in at the school or you can email it back to the school, and that's only for out of area and out of cluster who need to come to the school to do the testing. All children in the cluster will be taking the test. And I had a really good question. We went to see the primary school students last week, and one of the students said, but what if I'm not coming to Ashdale next year? Do I still need to do the test? And the answer is yes. All students in the cluster, year 6 students in the cluster, will do the test, because the cluster primary schools are also using that information for the diagnostics and reporting. So it's not only for the Ashdale ICT specialist, also the primary schools will be using the information too. So yes, every student in the class will be sitting the test, regardless if they want to come on to the specialist program or regardless if they're coming to ASC. Everybody will get the 45-minute test. In terms of general ability questions, so general ability questions more like just your average kind of maths questions. We're not out to trick students or to to make them fail. So like Rachel said, very similar to a NAPLAN style questioning. Again, no need to study or to take extra maths revision. Just have the students complete the test on the day, and they will be fine. Okay, is there anybody, is there any more questions? Again, if you just want to add them onto the chat.
Yeah. So I just noticed one question.
Sure.
You do have a whole week to get that paperwork in. I mean, it's 10 days away before it's due. So, or a week or 17th. It's due on the 27th of March. So you've got a whole week to get it done. It's only a one-page form. It's not too strenuous.
No,
so
it's more permission for the students to come to Ashdale themselves rather than
Yep.
So will there be any communication after this call? All information can be found on our website. So you can just down here. So Ashdale SC WA Education. You will find all this information. There'll be a brochure. There's a frequently asked question sheet. This video will go on there too. So if you do have if you want to go through the website, it's probably the best place to get all the information.
Any final questions?
So, do you send an acknowledgement of the permission slip out? So I'm not really sure what that
No.
what that means. So all students in the cluster will do the test, and then if you would like to send your student who's outside of our cluster, outside of area, to the college to do the testing, then you need to do the permission slip, which you can find online.
Yeah. So the students who are registering from out of area, we'll certainly send you a note to say, yes, we'll see you on the 1st of April. Here are the details. Yes. And I imagine typically there's about maybe 30 kids from out of area.
Yes. Yeah.
Versus the 5 cluster schools of year 6s. But all I can say is it's a really amazing program. The kids love it. They have a great time. There's excursions. We get guest speakers in. We get approached by all the universities with opportunities to come and do things with them. And the kids really get so much out of it. And it just really sets them up for senior school. And they just do really well. They're kind of the stars of the school, to be honest. And we're really proud of what they achieve when they leave. They're doing all sorts of amazing things.
Another question was about out-of-area students. Do we take a certain number of out-of-area students? No, essentially what we do is we look at, potentially, the top 65, and we see, where they are and then how many of them are out of area. Some years it can be 10 out of areas, 15, 18. It really goes on students' results with how many out of area students or how many students get into the program. Okay, so okay, so Justin,
Yes.
you've got a few questions. What I might ask you to do, Justin, is to actually email Rachel Farnay directly with your questions. Or what I'll do is I'll send them to her and she can respond to you. So if you could actually email Rachel, that'd be great because then she'll have your email address. Just about the different kind of coding language. I'm pretty sure it's Python that we use at the college.
Yes.
Yep, Python. And any other questions that you might have about the specific programs in terms of CTI. Otherwise, we thank you very much for your time. I know it is witching hour in terms of getting children into the bath and having dinner. So I appreciate everyone coming online with us tonight. Again, any other questions, please visit the website or email us at the college and we will do our very best. But otherwise, I will be in contact with you soon. So I'm going to stop recording now and you can enjoy the rest of